Ladies and gentlemen, there's something happening inside your body right now that most of us never think about: billions of cells communicating, regenerating, and either fighting for you or slowly failing. And here's the brutal truth. If you do nothing, if you leave it to chance, vitality declines and disease wins. But what if I told you that you have the tools today to tip the balance in your favor? That you can rewire your biology, ignite your cellular health, and restore your body's ability to heal using neuroscience, circadian science, and behavioral tools rooted in the most cutting-edge research. Vitality, energy, and healing begin with one of the most overlooked and underappreciated aspects of human biology: light. Not just any light, but specifically the light that reaches your eyes within the first hour of waking. The natural sunlight that emerges in the early morning does more than just illuminate the world. It sets the tempo of your entire biological system. Your body is not simply a collection of isolated organs. It's a symphony of interconnected processes, and at the center of that symphony is a conductor in your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus (SCN). This is your master clock, located in the hypothalamus, and it governs your circadian rhythm, the 24-hour cycle that regulates sleep, wakefulness, hormone release, metabolism, immune function, and cognitive performance. The SCN doesn't just decide the schedule for your body on its own. It relies on environmental cues, with light being the most powerful one. Morning sunlight contains a unique spectrum of light, particularly in the blue wavelength range, that is detected by specialized cells in the retina, known as intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, iPRGCS. These cells don't contribute to vision in the traditional sense. Instead, they send direct signals to the SCN when they are activated by bright light, especially that which occurs naturally in the early part of the day. Once activated, the SCN sends signals throughout the body to synchronize internal clocks located in nearly every organ and cell. This synchronization optimizes hormone production, prepares your metabolism for the day ahead, boosts alertness, and sets a timer for melatonin in release later in the evening, which governs your ability to fall asleep. Missing this crucial window of light exposure can disrupt this entire system. When people start their day indoors, exposed only to artificial light from overhead bulbs or phone screens, the intensity and spectrum of light are simply not strong enough to stimulate those retinal cells to trigger the proper circadian response. As a result, the SCN receives a delayed or weak signal, causing a cascade of misaligned internal processes. Cortisol, the hormone that helps wake you up and stay alert, may not rise at the optimal time. Melatonin may linger too long in the bloodstream, making you groggy in the morning. Later that night, because your internal clock wasn't properly set, melatonin release may be delayed, leading to poor sleep onset and quality. This misalignment, repeated day after day, leads to chronic fatigue, metabolic dysfunction, impaired immune function, and a greater susceptibility to disease. Exposure to early morning sunlight does more than set the clock for sleep. It also primes your immune system. Research has shown that proper circadian alignment boosts the expression of certain genes involved in immune defense and cellular repair. Conversely, disrupted circadian rhythms have been linked to increased inflammation, slower wound healing, and even tumor progression in experimental models. In addition, exposure to natural light supports healthy dopamine release, which plays a key role in mood, motivation, and focus throughout the day. That means getting outside early not only improves your physical health, but also your mental resilience. The effects of this single habit compound over time. Just 5 to 10 minutes of outdoor light exposure in the morning on sunny days, or 15 to 30 minutes on overcast days, is often enough to activate these beneficial biological pathways. It's best done without sunglasses, since they block the necessary wavelengths, and ideally without glass windows between you and the light, which can filter out much of the beneficial spectrum. The light doesn't have to be direct. Just being outdoors where the ambient light levels are several orders of magnitude greater than indoor lighting is sufficient. You don't have to stare at the sun. In fact, you shouldn't. But you do want to have your eyes open and facing toward the daylight. This simple, free, and accessible habit sets in motion a powerful biological rhythm that influences virtually every aspect of your health. It creates a state of wakefulness and alertness early in the day, allowing you to perform better physically and cognitively. It ensures that your energy levels peak and decline at the appropriate times. It promotes faster recovery from illness and injury by optimizing immune function. And perhaps most importantly, it ensures that your body will be primed to sleep deeply and restoratively at night. All of this comes not from a pill, supplement, or procedure, but from aligning your behavior with the fundamental biology that evolution has shaped over millions of years. In a world where people are constantly searching for complex solutions to feel better and heal faster, sometimes the most powerful interventions are the most basic. Morning sunlight is not just a feel-good habit. It is a vital input that your body needs to function properly. When used consistently, it becomes one of the most effective and reliable tools to support vitality and healing at the deepest levels. Your nervous system is the command center of your body, continuously scanning your internal and external environment to determine one critical question: am I safe? This answer dictates whether your body enters a state of defense or a state of healing. Most people live the majority of their lives in a chronic state of sympathetic activation, also known as fight or flight. This state evolved to help us survive immediate threats like predators or danger. In short bursts, it's incredibly useful. It increases heart rate, boosts alertness, and mobilizes glucose so you can think quickly or run fast. But when this system is constantly activated, which is common in today's world of non-stop notifications, social pressure, financial stress, and sleep disruption, your body can no longer dedicate energy to rest, repair, or regeneration. Healing is not just a passive process. It's a coordinated effort between your immune system, your hormonal systems, and your nervous system, and it happens almost exclusively when you're in the parasympathetic state, the rest, in digest mode. This is the state where the body conserves energy, repairs damaged tissue, digests food properly, balances hormones, and restores immune integrity. The critical issue is that many people are never actually shifting into this mode consistently. They stay stuck in low-grade stress for days, weeks, or even years. And this chronic sympathetic dominance suppresses the immune response, impairs digestion, reduces deep sleep quality, and contributes to long-term inflammation, a root factor in nearly every chronic disease. Fortunately, the nervous system is trainable. You can use your body to tell your brain, "I'm safe," and initiate the parasympathetic state manually. One of the fastest and most scientifically supported tools to do this is deliberate breath work. Unlike many other systems in the body, your breath is both automatic and controllable. This means you can use it intentionally to shift your physiological state. One of the most effective breathing tools, supported by peer-reviewed research and used in clinical settings, is the physiological sigh. It's a specific pattern that mimics a natural reflex we often do unconsciously when calming down. It involves 2 quick inhales through the nose, the second slightly shorter than the first, followed by 1 long, extended exhale through the mouth. This simple pattern of breathing has immediate effects. The double inhale expands the alveoli in your lungs, maximizing oxygen exchange, while the long exhale activates the vagus nerve, which directly signals your parasympathetic nervous system. Within 30 to 60 seconds of doing 2 to 3 physiological sighs, you can lower your heart rate, reduce blood pressure, and shift your internal state toward calm. Importantly, this isn't about relaxation in the abstract sense, it's about creating a real, measurable change in your internal chemistry and neural firing patterns. The shift is not psychological alone, it's physiological. What's remarkable is that you don't need to meditate for 20 minutes or go on a retreat to achieve this. Just 60 seconds of deliberate breathing, done once or twice a day, is enough to recondition your nervous system to be more adaptable and less reactive. Over time, you build a kind of neural resilience. Your baseline stress response diminishes, your heart rate variability improves, and your body starts to favor healing over reactivity. This creates what researchers call autonomic balance, the ability to efficiently switch between sympathetic and parasympathetic states based on real need, not chronic overactivation. In addition to the immediate physiological benefits, using breath to shift into parasympathetic mode creates downstream effects that improve nearly every system in the body. When your nervous system perceives safety, your digestive function improves, allowing better nutrient absorption. Your immune system regains balance, helping you fight infection and reduce chronic inflammation. Your reproductive hormones normalize, improving everything from libido to fertility. Even your cognitive function sharpens, because the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus, decision making, and emotional regulation, works best in calm, alert states, not during stress. Another powerful aspect of this approach is that it's self-directed and free. You don't need a device, a supplement, or a therapist to begin. You simply need your breath, your attention, and the willingness to practice. Over time, as you use breathwork to enter healing states more frequently, your nervous system recalibrates. The more you visit the parasympathetic mode, the more easily you can return to it in the future. That's neuroplasticity, the brain and body learning to adapt to the inputs you give it. The ability to shift into a healing state on command is one of the most valuable skills you can develop for your health. It's not just stress relief, it's a foundational requirement for long-term vitality. Your nervous system controls your capacity to repair and regenerate. When you use breath intentionally, you are sending a message deep into your biology. It's okay to heal now. And that message can transform the trajectory of your health. Human biology is built on a rhythm, a cycle of exertion and recovery, stimulation and restoration. To truly improve vitality and accelerate healing from disease, we must honor this rhythm. Two of the most powerful levers we can pull to support this process are movement and deep rest. They are not separate entities competing for our time, but complementary forces that enhance each other's effects when balanced correctly. Movement stimulates the body to adapt and grow stronger, while rest enables that adaptation to take root. Both are absolutely essential to the biology of healing. When you move your body, particularly with low to moderate intensity exercise like walking, light cycling, or zone 2 cardio, you activate countless biological systems that promote resilience. Movement increases blood flow, which delivers oxygen and nutrients to every tissue in the body. It also stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, a protein that supports the growth and survival of neurons. This makes physical activity one of the most powerful tools not just for cardiovascular health, but for cognitive function and mood regulation. Moreover, exercise improves insulin sensitivity, lowers systemic inflammation, and enhances mitochondrial efficiency. Mitochondria are the energy factories of your cells, and their performance determines how much usable energy you have to power healing, detoxification, immune defense, and brain function. Physical movement also primes the lymphatic system, a network of vessels and nodes that clears metabolic waste and immune byproducts from tissues. Unlike the cardiovascular system, which has the heart as a pump, The lymphatic system relies on muscle contractions to function. Without movement, lymph stagnates, leading to sluggish immune function and toxin buildup. This is why even gentle exercise can have profound effects on how efficiently your body detoxifies and defends itself. But it's not about intensity or how hard you push. In fact, too much intense training without adequate recovery can backfire. It can elevate cortisol, suppress immune activity, and delay healing. The goal is to use movement as a signal to the body, a message that says, let's adapt, let's grow, let's renew. But the signal to grow is incomplete without the space to recover, and that's where deep rest comes in. Sleep is not a passive state. It's an active process in which your brain and body carry out some of their most essential functions. During deep non-REM sleep, the body releases growth hormone, which is crucial for tissue repair, muscle recovery, and cellular regeneration. It's also during this phase that the lymphatic system in the brain, a recently discovered waste clearance network, becomes highly active, flushing out toxins and metabolic debris that accumulate during wakefulness. This includes proteins linked to neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Without adequate deep sleep, the brain and body cannot fully recover or maintain long-term vitality. REM sleep, which occurs later in the sleep cycle, plays a key role in emotional processing and neural integration. It helps consolidate learning and supports psychological resilience. Poor REM sleep is linked to mood disorders, weakened immune function, and impaired memory. Altogether, each phase of sleep contributes uniquely to healing and vitality. But you don't get the full benefits unless sleep is consistent, deep, and timed correctly. Disruptions to circadian rhythm, whether from late night screen use, caffeine, stress, or erratic sleep schedules, can interfere with this natural process. That's why morning light, as previously discussed, is so critical. It anchors your sleep-wake cycle and helps your body prepare for quality rest later in the day. Interestingly, movement during the day directly enhances sleep at night. Studies show that people who engage in regular physical activity fall asleep faster, spend more time in restorative deep sleep, and wake up less frequently throughout the night. This creates a virtuous cycle. Movement improves sleep, and better sleep improves your body's ability to move, repair, and perform. The systems involved in this loop, hormonal, neurological, muscular, are deeply interconnected. For example, exercise increases adenosine, a molecule that builds up in your brain during wakefulness and promotes the drive to sleep. Simultaneously, good sleep helps regulate cortisol and testosterone, which influence energy, mood, and muscle repair. The synergy between movement and deep rest becomes even more critical when you're recovering from illness or injury. It's tempting to think of rest as the only answer when you're unwell, but complete inactivity can slow down recovery. Strategic movement, tailored to your capacity, increases circulation and prevents the kind of metabolic stagnation that can delay healing. On the flip side, pushing your body to perform without giving it time to rest can create internal stress that hampers immune response. True healing happens in the interplay between the two, movement that signals growth and rest that locks that growth in place. Understanding and applying this dynamic changes everything. You no longer see exercise as just a way to burn calories and sleep as something you squeeze in. Instead, you begin to use them as biological tools, deliberate inputs that guide your body back into balance. Every walk, every breath, every night of deep sleep becomes a message to your cells that says, rebuild, repair, renew. This is the foundation of vitality, and the biology of healing responds best when movement and deep rest work together as partners. Healing from disease and cultivating true vitality require more than just the right inputs at the physical level. Food, sleep, movement, and light are critical, but if your mindset and internal environment are in conflict with healing, those physical practices will have limited effect. The reality is that your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are not just abstract ideas floating in your head. They have a biological signature. Every thought creates a cascade of electrical and chemical reactions throughout your body, influencing hormone levels, immune function, digestion, and even gene expression. This is the science of psychoneuroimmunology, the understanding that the brain, the nervous system, and the immune system are in constant dialogue. When you think about something stressful, such as unresolved conflict, financial fear, or past trauma, your body doesn't wait to ask if it's real or imagined. It responds immediately by releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones signal the body to prioritize survival mechanisms and deprioritize functions related to long-term repair. Reproduction, immunity, digestion, and cellular regeneration are suppressed when the stress response is chronically active. The body becomes wired for defense, not growth, and when that internal state becomes your daily norm, the result is inflammation, fatigue, hormonal imbalance, poor recovery, and a weakened immune response. This is why cultivating a healing mindset isn't just about thinking positively, it's about sending the right signals to your biology. Optimism, gratitude, and hope are not wishful thinking. They are neurologically and physiologically active states. When you feel genuinely grateful or connected to a sense of purpose, your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, chemicals that promote relaxation, immune support, and healthy brain function. These molecules enhance neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and rewire itself. In the presence of these neurochemicals, healing accelerates because the body enters a state where it feels safe enough to repair itself. Mindset also influences behavior, and behavior reinforces biology. A person who believes healing is possible is more likely to take the necessary actions, getting morning sunlight, moving the body daily, prioritizing sleep, and eating nutrient-dense foods. They are more consistent because their internal narrative is aligned with recovery. In contrast, someone trapped in a loop of despair, cynicism, or chronic self-doubt is biologically primed for inertia. Their physiology mirrors their mental state. If the brain doesn't believe healing is possible, the body won't either. That's not just philosophy, it's neuroscience. Another critical piece is how you interpret your symptoms. If every ache, pain, or flare-up is interpreted as a sign of failure or decline, your body responds with stress. But if symptoms are interpreted as signals, indicators of imbalance or opportunities to adjust, then the stress response can be avoided and healing can continue. Your interpretation creates your experience, and your experience shapes your physiology. This is the power of reframing. It's not denying discomfort, it's choosing to see your healing process as adaptive and dynamic rather than linear and fixed. Nutrition, too, is not only about macronutrients or calories. Food is molecular information, and how you eat affects your hormonal, digestive, and inflammatory states. But what often goes overlooked is that the way you approach eating, your mindset during meals, can shift how your body processes that food. Eating in a calm, present, and parasympathetic state allows for proper digestion and absorption. Eating while distracted, rushed, or emotionally distressed puts the body in a sympathetic mode where digestion is deprioritized. The same healthy meal can have different effects depending on your mental state while eating it. This is another example of how mindset and biology are inseparable. Additionally, practices that train minds, such as meditation, journaling, visualization, or even prayer, have been shown in numerous studies to reduce inflammation, improve sleep quality, enhance immune function, and support emotional regulation. These aren't mystical practices. They are direct methods of activating the prefrontal cortex and quieting overactive limbic responses, shifting the body into a healing state. Over time, the repeated experience of calm, safety, and connection builds a new internal environment, one that promotes recovery, creativity, and resilience. Finally, the mindset of curiosity rather than control has an underrated power in the healing process. When you approach your body and health with curiosity, asking what it needs, how it responds, what's helping, and what's not, you activate an internal sense of partnership with your biology. This reduces internal conflict, builds self-trust, and opens space for more adaptive choices. Control is rigid, curiosity is adaptive, and healing is an adaptive process. It doesn't follow straight lines or fixed schedules. It unfolds as your body receives the right cues, nutritional, physical, emotional, and cognitive, that tell it the environment is safe enough to grow. Healing and vitality, then, are not just about doing the right things. They're about being in the right internal state while doing them. Your mindset is not secondary, it is central. It changes your chemistry, your behavior, and your biology. When you choose thoughts and beliefs that align with trust, safety, and possibility, you create a deep cellular permission to heal, and that's when transformation begins.